Nike Incorporated is a well-known, multi-million-dollar organization that is responsible for the design, manufacturing, selling, and marketing of footwear and other sports apparel and equipment. Nike has made attempts at becoming a more socially responsible corporate citizen, especially after some recent backlash regarding their practices. Nike's main issue in terms of sustainability framework is that they are able to acknowledge all four quadrants of the framework, but are unable to make a more vast and progressive attempt at maintaining opportunity for sustainability. To be more specific, Nike should focus more heavily on their maintenance of basic human rights through improved working conditions and proper wages for their factory workers. Nike appears to be in the first stages of focusing on sustainability and are creating concepts that focus on social responsibility aims rather than actual actions. In terms of key issues, Nike's political implications involve mostly environmental codes and regulated policies. With many countries developing stricter policies on environmental issues, Nike has to integrate sustainability standards in their business activity. Being one of the largest corporations in the shoe and athletic equipment industry, they make their production leaner and avoid conflict with these policies. In an economical sense, Nike faces declining economic conditions and dropping stock prices. This can be mainly attributed to the recent recession. Yet the declining trends in Nike's stock prices show that the company is facing issues with overall profitability. Accordingly, Nike has recently been facing social consequences of using unfair labor and poor working conditions in their international factories. Nike has been burdened with accusations of human rights violations from its production process. With corporate social responsibility playing a large role in how a company is viewed by the public, Nike must commit to different CSR initiatives and try to make amends for any harm they have caused to those in lesser developed areas. Finally, recent technology changes have been rapidly developing to implement new ways to remain sustainable. Cheap and inefficient technology is not as appropriate as it once was, as the recent society collectively looks down upon waste. As previously discussed, Nike's major implications with social responsibility concepts fall within the base of the pyramid. Factory conditions for Nike have been reputably poor, and Nike should reevaluate the existing circumstances in third world country factory workshops.
We would go to different workers' homes. You got like 4 women sleeping in an 8x8 cement box, and all their possessions are in there, like everything in this small area.
The workers would have to share a bathroom with 5 to 10 other families. The workers would have to share living quarters, actually like a row of shacks with corrugated tin roofs. All of those families would share a laundry corner and a kitchen facility, and they would all share the same well to take the water out of.
$1.25 a day after you've paid for your rent, water, electricity, any major transportation costs, you're going to be left on average with roughly 7,000 rupiah per day. What the hell does that mean? That's going to buy you 2 simple meals of rice and vegetables, a bag of peanuts, a bottle of iced tea, and some dish detergent. And that's all you can get. And that's your reward?
Without a doubt. We found it out in the first week that we were there. There's no way that you can live on $1.25 a day and maintain your human dignity. It's just not possible.
The main problem lies mostly within the workers' poor wages. While an obvious solution may be to have Nike increase their wages above the minimum wage required by government standards, this is not enough to improve the quality of life and fair working conditions endured by their employees. One recommendation, then, is to implement a unionization. Employees should have access to a grievance process in which their grievances are evaluated by a third-party organization that allows employees to make claims in a confidential manner. A third-party union would allow employees to challenge these standards and can result in an overall socially responsible manner of conducting employer-to-employee relations. Furthermore, Nike should implement and strictly enforce a means of creating certain factory standard guidelines and monitoring them more closely. Though a code of conduct for Nike in their factories already exists, it may not necessarily be properly implemented and closely monitored. Nike should also consider entering new markets, such as an affordable shoes initiative in poorer countries. This could be similar to a one-for-one movement that other footwear companies have already done successfully. Nike can offer to fund or heavily discount a pair of running shoes in a third world country for every pair of shoes purchased in one of their major retail outlets. This social entrepreneurship approach would not only give a positive image on the company's behalf, but would be another step towards improving their poor base of the pyramid policies. Nike should consider shortening the supply chain to using local materials as supplies in the production of their products. Additionally, Nike would be able to address the triple bottom line if they implemented a system in which materials made in the surrounding region were brought into their factories to be used as an ingredient in creating shoes, sportswear, gear, and other merchandise. Nike would not only be supporting the local community, they would also be shortening carbon emissions and chemical hazards by requiring less transport of their materials that are required to produce their shoes and other products. Furthermore, Nike can actually create local designs for certain regions that cater to the culture and demographics of the area in order to promote base of the pyramid sales and the promotion of their existing markets. Nike would successfully be supporting a local economy if they took on these recommendations.
Nike has successfully incorporated some principles from Prahlad's 12 Principles of Innovation for bottom of the pyramid markets. However, there are some aspects where they can improve on their work. We are going to analyze both the successes and failures of Nike Incorporated in the BOP markets. Price performance. Nike had attempted to use price performance in a CSR initiative they implemented in 1999. This initiative was called Nike's World Shoe, which attempted to sell their products to lower-income consumers by reducing the price of the items. However, it proved that price performance alone was not a successful strategy. Nike did not emphasize the functionality of their product to this new market, and mainly focused on the pricing strategy. This did not appeal strongly to the low-income consumers because they could not relate to or understand the need for such a product. Sustainable development, eco-friendly. Nike has been guilty of dumping and disposing of their products and raw materials in an unsustainable manner. Through repetitive dumping, Nike contributes to the destruction of local ecosystems and the environment of their laborers. By reducing the supply chain of their products, Nike can become more sustainable by focusing on the use of locally sourced materials. This would reduce the carbon footprint that is generated from importing products from great distances away from the factories. CSR initiatives such as recyclable shoes are also extremely beneficial to developing countries to help reduce waste production. Process innovation. While Nike may be a leading company in sports equipment in North America, they lack focus in creating innovation in developing countries. They continue to make innovations for their products that are available to first world consumers and ignore the lack of innovation in the developing countries. Investing in innovation in developing countries can go a long way because of how resourceful the people in these countries are. The process of clean production, clean disposal, and recycling should also be innovated. By investing in these processes, they help in creating more affordable products through recycled materials. This would improve the infrastructure of the manufacturing process that their laborers are involved in. Identifying functionality. Nike needs to highlight and provide sporting opportunities in the developing countries that manufacture their shoes. Most of these countries do not truly have a need for Nike's products. If Nike creates sporting equipment that emphasizes the sporting culture in these specific countries, the functionality of Nike's products will be clearer to the people of the developing markets. An example of this would be to focus on cricket sporting equipment, because this sport is much more prominent in areas like Bangladesh, South Africa, and India. Emphasizing soccer gear that Nike produces would also provide a stronger sense of functionality in countries in South America. The company must appeal specifically to the sporting culture in these countries if they want to create a market in the developing countries. De-skilling of work. Currently, Nike welcomes laborers in low-income countries that may not have high skill levels to work in other jobs. Nike is able to provide a source of income to low-skilled workers, which creates many jobs in these developing countries. This helps the developing countries strengthen their economy and help their workers provide for their families. Nike has also taken initiative to empower their employees in these emerging markets. Laborers are provided training through Nike to learn how to manage production and quality control. By increasing the skill level of these workers, their employees have a stronger potential to improve the company, or at the very least, maintain a job for the future.
The easiest and least costly method to improving the job quality for the workers would be to set a code of conduct that must be followed. The reasoning behind this is that the vast majority of manufacturing is done externally throughout over 40 countries. The code of conduct would detail minimum compensation standards and working conditions. The factories would be audited and inspected, with violations ending up with significant fines or ceasing the business partnership rather than just endless warnings. To expand into the basic period market or markets, developing a local design or designs will help. It will require resources for R&D and will not be a guaranteed source of profit. If it is properly implemented, it can lead to an expansion in the BOP markets as well as a reputation booster for providing an innovative, locally focused product or products rather than excluding or ignoring the market. An easier alternative is further promotions in the BOP markets. It is far less time consuming, and the difficult part is designing the promotion. Whether it is a fixed amount per year, who the promotion is for, and if it is a year-long or a time-sensitive event. A popular and recent focus of business for Nike is soccer. Although there are promotions currently related to soccer, there could always be more resources spent towards the BOP instead of elsewhere, such as sponsorships or the shareholders' pockets in the source of dividends. Although it appears that there are a limited amount of inputs being imported, it can never hurt to place a reward on factories sourcing locally. The inputs must come from within a 25-kilometer range, and Nike would provide a reasonable subsidy.
To conclude, the recommendations listed would reinvent Nike Incorporated and allow them to expand into the base of the pyramid markets, creating sustainable social, environmental, and economic value. Thank you very much for viewing our presentation. And don't forget, to all of you out there, CSR, just do it.